How you gonna do drag and be hairy? You can't do drag and be hairy. You gotta pick one. You can't do, no. But nowadays, you have your bearded queens. You have all these things, all these beautiful hybrids. So it is becoming more and more accepting. But if you date someone who's trash and they're gonna tell you that you're shit no matter what you do, no matter how masculine or feminine you are, then you're always just gonna feel like shit. You gotta get out of that. You gotta get out of that person, get out of your head. You gotta get free and find out what you want. What makes you feel beautiful? What makes you feel like a divine superstar or tranquility? Is that a word? Tranquility? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be a story time. I'm getting into kind of a personal story here. The journey of my body hair. I know it may seem like a weird topic to a lot of you guys, but it has been such a story time, and these moments that I'm about to share with you have been such a turning point in my life and in my confidence. So even if you don't relate on the level of someone growing body hair or whatever, maybe you can relate on a level of just imperfections and vanity and such. But I'm gonna get right into it. So a lot of you may know by going through some of my older videos, or maybe if you follow me on Instagram at Princess Pudding, you can see that I am a drag queen and I've done a lot of drag. I started doing drag around 16 or 17. I started dressing, you know, for the Halloweens, as most young gays do. Just looking like a super hot girl on Halloween was the costume. It wasn't like, oh, what are you gonna be for Halloween? I'm gonna be a sorceress, I'm gonna be a witch. It was always gonna be like slutty sorceress, slutty witch. You know how the tea. You know how Halloween works. It is what it is. So I started doing drag at such a young age, and when I was younger and I didn't have body hair or facial hair, I was super lush and soft, and it really went with the look that I wanted to portray for drag. Back then I was very much known as like what you would call like fish drag, like just super girly and very real, meaning that whether it was a little bit of makeup or a lot of makeup on, I was giving a real effect that I was a woman. So having that young supple skin definitely helped. As I got older, obviously my beard started to grow in and my body hair started to come in, so things got a little bit difficult for me. I remember continuing to do drag and continuing to try to like beat my face every day and like do all these looks and boob stuff and to tour, and like I wanted to do so many things, but it just, my body hair wouldn't allow me. And then that mixed with like having super sensitive skin, it was like at one point I was trying to like do drag every day and really beat my face and master the art of makeup, and my skin was so sensitive, I was just breaking out, and I would get bumps after I shaved, and then I would shave over the bumps and break them open, and then they were bleeding, and then I'm putting makeup on that, and it was just a mess, to the point where I would kind of give myself moments to kind of just grow the hair out and then just like live my life as that bearded boy for that little bit. So as time went on, I kind of would do more and more of that. It wasn't up until recently, like last summer when I went to New Orleans to, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but they have Southern Decadence, which is a huge gay party. It's about 5 or 6 days. There's lots of different types of events there, both in the morning, both in the daytime and at night. Everything's amazing, but it's super open as far as like what you wear, how gay you are, and all those things like that, like body image and all that is just non-existent there. It's just be yourself, let it out, be cute. It's great. So I was there and I was wearing like a top that kind of had like my chest out like a little bit, and I was going through like a fur phase at that time. Like I wasn't doing drag at that time. I was doing like a fur phase. So that's essentially like what I learned to do over the years, is kind of like allocate time for drag and then allocate time to just let my skin rest and be a bear. In that time previously where I would rest and just be a bear, I would like stay home and like not be seen, not like take pictures, and not like let it out. But then I went to this festival as my bare self, or hairy self, whatever you want to call it, and someone copped that little piece of hair coming out, and they just like basically like tore it open, and they this is like, it's not vulgar or hypersexual or anything, but they basically like tore it open and said and told me to like never cover it up again, and that it was beautiful. And I don't know why, but in that moment it just really changed my life. It resonated with me. because rewinding back to like back in the day when I started drag, I also started I started drag, so 16 to about 23, 24, I was living my drag life, like super supple, like skin glowing, everything, like not a lot of body hair. And then as it started to change and become more like get these more manly features, I was also dating someone who was more so interested in my drag persona than me. So a lot of the times as the body hair was growing and the facial hair was growing, I was dating someone who did not want that to come out. He would make fun of me for it, put me down for it, and yes, this is the same ex-situationship that you can hear about in the previous story times. I'm gonna try not to do too much about him because I don't want that negativity to overtake my channel, but I do want you guys to see where I came from, and that I was dating someone that was extremely unhealthy, and that I was literally waking up next to them and they would kind of like, ugh, like at the sight of my scruff or my chest hair, to the point where I just wanted to like shave it, like scrape it off. Like I just didn't want it there at all. I didn't want it to come back. I was considering laser. I was considering all these things like to change my body and my natural form, all because of the way someone looked at me and the way someone felt. Mind you, he was a boy, and what I came to realize, fast forwarding to my life to last summer, to going into Southern Decadence and being around men and just being older, those were men. And the difference was absolutely beautiful, you know, just knowing that he was so insecure with himself and he was so young, like that's what made him attack me back then the way that he did, makes it okay, like, you know what I mean, like it makes it okay. Like I had my growth and I don't think that he's had his. I feel like he still feels that way about people, and that you have to look a certain way, and like if you're gonna be a feminine drag queen, you can't have hair. If you're gonna be a feminine drag queen, you can't, you know, wear hats, you can't, you know, have a beard. All these things that he was in his mind, that was his perception of like it was okay. I just began to kind of like accept and think that that was my life. Like, oh, okay, you're right. Like I want to be a fish drag queen. I want to be beautiful. I want to be polished. I want to smile. I want to look pageantry. I want to look like a pageant princess. Like my vibe for my drag was so girly and so over the top and so feminine. The idea was that how dare I grow my chest hair out, or how dare I have a beard, and he was really big on that, so I believed in it. But fast forwarding to the future, where I learned to accept myself and men started to approach me at Southern Decadent, it got poppin'. Like, to get to the fun part of the story time, I know that was a little bit of a negative part of it, but yeah, after he had his little peak, this came off. I did this thing where like I tucked my shirt over my head and I had it just kind of like wrap around my neck, kind of like like a towel or something, and that was my look. Like, you can ask my friend Michael, who was there with me in New Orleans. It was like, and mind you, yeah, you could just ask my friend Mike like what I wore. It was so funny. Like, mind you, 2, 3, like a year before this experience, like I had never taken my shirt off at the beach. You know, the PTSD from my past ex-situationship and me being in love with him and him putting me down so constantly, as well as so much other emotional and different levels of abuse, really started to shape who I was, to the point where I just wouldn't show my body to anyone. I became very, very insecure from being with him. So after I started to shed that as Southern Decadence, it happened quickly. Like I said, I did my shirt thing where I tucked it over my head, and I walked around the rest of that week with my tits out. Like, she was killing it. I was living my best life, and the chest hair was almost like a representative of being a girl and having breasts. Like, men just really, really went for it, and just, you know, that confidence just began to grow in me over time. So now, you know, I truly, truly have a tight schedule, and I allocate it well to when I'm going to be a bear and have those bear events. I love to travel and go to different bear festivals and stuff like that, where we can all like oogle at my goodies and I feel beautiful. And it's really funny because a lot of like, you know, a lot of the gay things that we do, like our prides and our parties and the bathhouses and all that stuff, people are a part of. Like, people always look down so bad and like sex shame it so bad. Like, oh, there's so much nudity, or oh, there's so much sex going on there, and oh, listen, like that openness has made me like grow. Like, I'm not one to, I can tell you right now, like those events where everyone's nude and then the naked parties and all that stuff like that, like it's not something I'll go to for the experience of like per se, like to have sex or be like in that setting, but I'll go there for the confidence exchange. Like, just to know that people will be into me in my natural form has been just so beautiful, because like I said, like in the past I've just been kind of like just put in a box with my drag, and I just felt like I wasn't ever allowed to kind of go outside of that. So now, more so than recently, I'm just so excited to show different sides of me, and not only that, but be proud of it. So I just wanted to go ahead and give this little story time of how I came into my own with all this. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you drop it down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like this video if you love this storytime journey. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. And again, remember, like, just take this and put it into your own. So if you're not dealing with a body hair issue, or you're not dealing with something else, maybe it's acne, maybe it's something, and maybe it's your voice, whatever you're being attacked for, just find a way to love it. And whoever's attacking you for it, find a way to get rid of them. Make sure you just continue to love yourself, and that love's gonna come right back to you, and it's gonna radiate through your face, and people are going to be so attracted to it. So, you know, loving yourself first is absolutely number one. So get that negativity out of your way. Begin to find out what makes you happy and what makes your soul soar, and wear what you want, be who you want, do what you want. You only have one life to live, so you do not want to waste it. I'm so excited that I'm able to get out there and do my thing now, and more so importantly, this is definitely one of the stories that I couldn't wait to tell, because so many people, they get a little confused by like my social media and like the drag for 1 week, and then the boy for a month, and then the drag for a month, and then the like, or whatever I'm doing at the time. It can be so confusing to people, but I kind of just follow my heart, my passions. And if I'm looking at like shooting a music video and doing 10 photo shoots, then I'll be in drag for a month. And if I'm looking to do the opposite and just kind of kick back and be a guy and just be like scruffy and cute, then I'll be a bear for a couple weeks. Like, it really is up to whatever I feel. It's not really shaped by anything else but my heart. So I'm having a blast just being myself, and I cannot stress enough to encourage you guys to be yourselves too, and to just fully let every chapter of you out into the world and tell these stories. Because my hopes for videos like this is that, yes, I want people who can't relate to kind of put it into their own perspective, and maybe take out my journey and put in something else, like something else that they might not feel comfortable with. But in reality, it would be really cool to come across people who do have like the same situation where, you know, they're a feminine drag queen living in a hairy body, and we just try to make things work. How the fuck am I gonna be a drag queen with all this body hair? How's she gonna be doing makeup with stubble popping up and everything popping up all over my face, and I'm breaking out? Like, how am I gonna be a makeup drag superstar princess with all of this? Like, that was the idea of what I was thinking. Like, there was no way I can reach my hopes or dreams of like recording a single, being a drag queen, doing shows. Like, how am I gonna do all this with all this body hair? Fuck it. We gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way to make it work. If I found a way, you can find a way. And more importantly, you're just opening up different sides of yourself to people. I think that's really beautiful. I always think of it as, imagine if I just kept shaving my face and kept shaving my chest, and I just lived like this skintimate drag life. Like, I would never be able to be like, you know, like don't you want this to like no, but I'm enjoying myself, and I want you guys to enjoy yourself too. It really starts with being yourself. So I hope that this message and this storyline was somewhat enlightening and life-changing for someone out there, at least one person. That's always my goal, is to reach one person. And if it reaches more, then your girl is happy. But all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.